And now if I go to this order management, and let me just show it from script again. So here we have this again, the indentation will be followed. You see that label, description, reasoning, these three are like at same level. Similarly, reasoning and actions both are child of this topic, right? Instruction is a child of reasoning, and this order status is one of the actions, so it's a child of actions. So that's where you see that all this indentation is followed. Now for this topic, this is the action definition. It's still not available for the topic. This is the action definition for this action, which is basically this flow that we have here, but this is still not included in the order management topic. Let me just finish this and then I'll explain it what exactly is happening, because this is little confusing. So let's go back to this order management in the canvas. Now we are saying that this is our topic. So the first thing is instruction and actions. We have to give both of this, right? So the instruction, we can say that is, you can give instruction like this. Your job is to help the customer in finding the order status only. Similarly, we can say that for finding the order status, order number is required. Okay, and we can add more instruction. To find the order status, invoke this action. So this is very similar to what we used to do here. You remember we used to say that invoke this action, and we are just saying the action name, but we were not able to embed the action into the instruction. But with this agent script, we should be able to do that. But before doing that, as I said, this action, the action that you see here is just the definition of the action, and it's not yet available for this topic. Now to make it available for this topic, we have to select here, and you will see that for this topic, these are the available action definition, and then you can link these actions to this topic. So I can have like 10 action definition here, but if I only want to use 3 or 4 of it, then I have to manually add that and define how the parameters will go there. So let me just put it here and then I'll explain you. I mean, this is a little confusing, but just bear with me. So now you remember that this action, the flow action, is requiring an input field called order number. And now here is where agent script now gives you the ability to say that the input field order number, how does that value go? Is it going to be agent populated? So this agent populated is actually called as LLM slotting. In the agent script, you will see 3 dots, dot, 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 and it's called LLM slotting, which means that we are saying that to our agent that you need to invoke this order status action, and there the order number you should populate, which means that based on the conversation that we have, let's say the user says that what is the status of my order 100, then that 100 is something that you should put here. So this is where we are using the non-deterministic approach, where we are trusting that our agent will be able to fill in the value. So for the very first version of this SoftRink agent, I'll actually go with this approach where I'll show you that the way we were creating agent non-deterministic, it will be very similar here. And then when we create the version 2 of it, we'll see that how to make it deterministic by using variables and by using different filter condition. So for now, I'm just going to keep it this way. I'm not going to do anything. So it's saying that when you invoke this action, the input parameter for this order number will be agent populated, and it will be in the script, you will see 3 dots, which is called LLM slotting. Or you can also change that by hard coding a variable or by hard coding some value. Like I can actually pass 100 from here, but that does not make any sense. But sometimes you might want to pass value as hard coded. For example, the temperature should be in Fahrenheit. So if you are invoking some services where there is a temperature type, then you want to pass the value always as Fahrenheit. Then you can hard code it, or you can actually use variables here. And this is something that I'll cover once we create a second version of this. This is the first version, a basic version. So let it be like this. And then again, it gives us the ability saying that this action will return order status. You remember this is actually returning this order status. Do you want to store it into some variable? Why do you want to store it? Because maybe you want to use it for the next task. You remember when we were talking about action chaining, maybe the output of the first action you want to use as an input to the next action. In that case, you may want to store this order status in a separate variable and then use that variable as an input to the next action. But for now, we are not doing that. This is just going to tell me the status. I'm not going to pass that status to next action, or I'm not I'm not requiring that for further processing, so I'll keep it. Now with this, let me just save it, and here you will not see much difference. So now from here you will see that I have a order management, this is the description, and these are the instruction, and this is the action available. Now this structure where you have topic, you have instruction, and you have actions is very similar to how we used to create here. We have a topic, and we have instructions, and we have actions, right? This is something that we have done. But now you will see little difference here when I show you this in the script manner here. So here, if you go to topic order management, I have topic, I have instructions, I have actions. The instructions, this reasoning, this topic has instructions and actions, but then there is another actions. What does it mean? Why we have two actions? So as I said, this is just the definition of this action. Basically, this flow action is represented in this manner, that there is a order status. The type of that action is of flow. So this action order status is going to invoke the flow. Similarly, if you have apex action, you will define that. So this basically represents what we have in legacy agent builder was the assets. So if you remember Agentforce assets, where we used to create actions, right? So let me just show you that. I mean, I'm just trying to correlate things so that if you have built these agent previously, you can actually correlate it and it will be easy for you. So previously we used to create actions, right? We used to create actions from here. So this is the definition of the action. And then when I add this action to my topic, that is where this action is available for that topic, correct? So we create an action from here, correct? This is how we create action. Let's say flow action. If I have something, let's say this is so this is how I created the action. So when you saw in the agent script, when I created this action, I did something like this, and this will create a definition of this action. But now this action is not yet available for my agent as well as for my topic. To do that, I'll go to that topic and I'll select this action. So this is very similar thing what we have done here. We created the definition of action here, and then we said that this action is available for my topic. Now that brings us to a very important point. In agent script, these actions are not global, they are static. So previously, if you used to create an action from here, let's say I created a global action, then this action can be added into multiple topics of different actions, okay, right? I can create a generic action and I can invoke it from two different agents, two different topics. But here, these actions are local. This definition of action is local to this agent and it's only available here. Okay, and that too within this topic. So this action can only be used here. Now, if you want to use the same action in your another agent, then what you will have to do is you will have to actually copy paste it. So the actions are no longer global. Okay, in previous legacy Agentforce agent, we used to create global actions that can be referenced into multiple topics of different agents. But now all these actions are going to be local actions of a agent. So you will have to, if you need the same order status action in your some other agent, you will have to copy this definition here, or maybe, same way you will create a actions within the topic. Okay, as I said, this is little confusing, but as we create more and more example, this will become little clearer. So this is a topic, this is a reasoning, and in the reasoning we are saying that this is the instruction, this is the action that this topic has, and this action is actually pointing to this action. So from here we are saying that to get the order status, invoke this action. In this, there is a order number, which is an input field, and order status, which is an output. So we are saying that when you are invoking this order status action here, so this is how you execute an action from the actions block. Again, that sheet I was showing, let me quickly show you that. So when you execute an action, you execute it like this, @actions dot the action name. And if you have to execute the action from the instruction, then we use run command. Let's not go into that. I'll show you that later. But this one, to execute actions, you use @actions dot action name. So this is our action order status. How do I execute it? @actions dot order status. And then if you have to pass the input fields, then you will do with. So again, if I show you here, with passes input value to an action, while set stores return value. So if I want to store the output, which is basically this order status, into some variable, Do we have any variable? Yeah, if I have some variable here, let's say this verified customer ID or some custom variable, I want to store that value, then I will say that set the variable name equal to the output that is coming here. Okay, this order status. But right now we are not storing that, so that's why you're not seeing that. But this is how we, from this action block of this topic, we are saying that you will execute this action, which is basically the actions definition. And in this one, the order number is the input field, and this is where we are doing the LLM slotting. In the canvas, it was showing that agent populated, but in the script, it will show you 3 dot, which means that it is telling to the compiler that it is LLM slotting, and agent should use its reasoning to tell what is the order number, right? We are not hard coding it. We are not using some variables. So we are not deterministic here. We are non-deterministic here, which means that we are giving the freedom to the agent to fill in the order number here. Okay, and once we modify this agent in our upcoming lecture, there we will see that how we can fix this non-deterministic to deterministic approach. Okay, so I think that's it. So let me just save it. And let's go back to, I want to add one more instruction, and let me add that instruction from canvas only again. So here, now I want to say that to find the status of the order, invoke this action. And now in my instruction only directly I can embed a action. So that to do that, you need to use @ symbol, and you see that it's saying that this is an action available. So here you see that I have one action available for this topic. That's why it is showing me that do you want to invoke this? I'm saying yes. So now I'm embedding the action here. This is as good as what we used to do here. Okay. So this is as good as writing this instruction that yeah, invoke this action, validate customer. So here it was just a string, but here with the agent script, I'm actually referencing the action, and let me save it. Let's go to the script, and you see that here to find the status of the order, invoke this action. So how do you reference that action from the instruction block is this way. Using the curly braces, this is called template expression. Using the curly brace and exclamation mark, you write the same way, actions.order status. So here, let me go to the entire script. Yeah. So here, if you see that from actions, if I have to invoke this action, then we are saying that @actions order status. And from instructions, if I have to execute this order status action, then I'll use the curly braces. Basically, this is pointing to this order status, and this is pointing to this order status. So this is little confusing. Let me just do it this way. Let's call it order status action. Then let me save it. Then it will start giving error here. Now you see that. So this one is actually pointing to this action, not to this action. And from the action block, we actually point to the actions definition. So now here it should be order status action. Okay, just so that you are aware, from the instruction you are referring to these actions, and from the action block you are referring to the actual actions definition. Okay, these are just the name for this which we can refer. Okay, and with this I think we are done. This is our agent which should be able to help us find the order status. There are few more things that we have to do, but I see that this lecture is getting little lengthier. So let's meet in the next lecture and let's see that.